My name is Cesarano. I am one of the principals of Cesarano & Con. Our firm specializes in audits and professional services for co-ops, condominiums, homeowners associations. One of the interesting things I find about annual meetings is after the popularity contest is over and the board of directors, or the newly elected board of directors, has their first meeting, there's a very large expectation gap many times between what these newly elected directors believe their job functions are and what they actually should be. If you look at their bylaws, it's pretty clear. Obviously, the president is an important function, secretary is an important function, vice president is an important function, but I am more particularly interested in the role of the treasurer. The treasurer is the backbone of the board, in my opinion. They are responsible for making sure assets are protected, the maintenance or common charges or HOA fees are properly billed, collected, and that expenses are paid. They are certainly an integral part of the operation. One of the things I find is that in many instances, the people who get elected never ran a formal business before. They're basically employees of some type. They also have never ran a real estate company in many cases. That's the biggest challenge. So my philosophy is I ask the person who just recently has been elected, do you understand what your job function is? Many times I get the answer that, well, I'm uncompensated. We have an outsourced model. We have a managing agent. We hired you as an accountant. We have an attorney. We have engineers. I just kind of sit back and monitor what's going on. I think that's really oversimplifying the issue. I think if the bylaws are pretty clear, you are the officer, you are responsible. What I'd like to do at that point is have a sit down, arrange a meeting, subsequent to the annual meeting and the election of the board, perhaps attend the next board meeting and try to establish an expectation. What is your function? What should you be doing on a monthly basis? Whether you use an outsourced model or not, in the vast majority of cases they do, which is a managing agent, are you reviewing the monthly reports that they produce? Do you establish an expectation, i.e. a budget? Once a budget is established, we want to make sure on a monthly basis that we are following that budget and is meeting our expectation. Is our revenue being properly deposited? Do we look at a bank reconciliation? Many people say, wow, I'm not compensated. It seems like a big job. I work all day. And actually, if you have some training, not much, a sit down with your accountant, and he trains you, and your managing agent perhaps trains you on how to read a management report and how to interpret it and how to compare it to your budget, i.e. your expectation. I believe the job could be done, in under an hour a month. What you would perhaps do is look at your revenue, look at your budget, look at your bank statement, look at your bank reconciliation, make sure everything looks no different than you would probably do with your own stuff. For example, make sure your paycheck hit your bank electronically. Well, collectively, did all our maintenance come in? Did all our common charges come in? If it didn't, let's look at people who didn't pay. We have a list of arrears. Let's kind of see if that looks in line. With respect to expenses, you can go through the list. Many of our expenses are pretty much the same every month, such as our mortgage payment, for example, real estate taxes, insurance, but many of them are variable. And certainly what you want to do is you want to look at the reasonableness of those expenses. And you want to make some little notes. And you want to say, oh, I want to follow up on this. And I could follow up with the managing agent. I could follow up with the accountant. I could follow up with engineering folks if that's applicable. One of the interesting things that goes on in co-ops and condos, as they have a unique culture and structure, is it's predominantly an outsourced model. In Fortune 500 companies, mostly every other company, what happens is you hire an independent CPA, and the independent CPA audits your books and records. The treasurer makes the representations on behalf of the co-op or condo or the entity, and also is responsible for making sure all these reports actually go out, such as the audited financial statement. What happens in the co-op condo industry is many times the CPA is making that representation on behalf of the corporation and the treasurer as to what happened and why. And I do find that many, many times people on the board do not believe that that is their job. But frankly, in any other corporation, and certainly if you read your bylaws, that is your job. Unless you're an accountant yourself or a CPA, it may be an unreasonable expectation that you know everything. And I don't think that should be the expectation. But I think the expectation should be that you strive to understand it, that you make a good faith effort to understand it, and that you sit down with the professionals and you discuss it, and we set up proper communication with respect to making sure that the company is fiscally sound and that our assets are protected.